So, I did in fact make it into playoffs, which is huge for me. Like, if you look at the standings, top 6 made it into playoffs. I ended up in 6th. I was in 5th after my final game, but that was because 2 of the Week 8 games had not been played yet. And both games had someone where if they won, they would guarantee overtake me in the placements, and if they both won, I wouldn't have made it into playoffs. But luckily for me, one of them didn't, so yay, I made it into playoffs. And my first opponent, as you can see, is the Marambina Marowaks, coached by I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, it's this team, which is now different. There's no Tinkaton, which is better for me. There is a Grimmsnarl, which I hope doesn't come, because it's really annoying to deal with. But no one else has brought a priority-reliant Pokemon into me yet, because I have a Tapu Lele. There's also Dunsparce, which my team kind of can't break through Dunsparce very well. Like, all of my Pokemon can individually get 1v1'd by the right Dunsparce set, which is terrifying, but not as terrifying as Kilowattrel, because, yeah, it outspeeds my entire team, and I don't have a good way to check it defensively. Like, my best option is Octozolt, but Octozolt will need to eat a Thunderbolt switching in, and then it'll need to eat a Volt Switch or a U-turn, and then, like, every time it will not be able to consistently deal with this Kilowattrel. Abomasnow is kind of bad into me, and Ariados has Sticky Web, which makes Dracovish even scarier. Also, Heatran can Terastallize now, which, isn't really that bad for me. It's not super scary into me. Not as scary as something like Kilowattrel or Dunsparce. That's a sentence you'll probably never hear again in your life. But it can still be an issue. So, I made 3 teams since... Oh yeah, forgot to mention, playoffs games are all best of 3. So I made 3 teams for every matchup. First one being Blunder Policy Slowking, with 2 Dragon Dance Mons and a Quiver Dancer. This was me really leaning into the idea of 0 defensive Pokemon. If I don't kill them first, they will kill me. Because my usually defensive Slowking is fully offensive and nearly max speed. Because Watts, the coach of the Marambina Marowaks, has a really, really big gap in their speed tiers. With nothing between Kilowattrel at base 125 speed and Great Tusk at base 87 speed. So I have a lot of Mons in that gap, which can afford to run so little speed just so that all they need to do is outrun Great Tusk, because nothing I have is naturally faster than a Kilowattrel or Dragapult unboosted. So I don't know why, but I decided that one of the ways to do this was, since Slowking stabs are very good here, along with Electric, and then I had Fire Blast for Abomasnow, I think. I decided, well, if I miss a Zap Cannon and Blunder Policy pops, gives me +2 speed, I'm faster than Great Tusk. Fun fact, little bit of trivia which I worked out while making this team, is a max speed plus speed Nature Slowking at +2 speed, speed tires Kartana. Yeah, that's very important knowledge. Anyway, Hydro Pump, Expanding Force, Hydro Pump, Fire Blast, Zap Cannon hits everything really hard. There is a slight problem with this set in that it can only really come in and start trying to use Zap Cannon against the Slowbro, because everything else kind of just deals with it. But against Slowbro, Zap Cannon gives us a good way to deal a lot of damage to it. If they switch, we can also get a paralysis on something. Or if we miss, obviously we get the Blunder Policy proc, which... This set is really bad. I probably should just be bringing defensive Slowking, but I thought it was funny, and I thought of it, so I brought it. Then we have Quiver Dance for Boneby. I think this is just speed for Great Tusk. It might also be for something at +1. I don't really know what. Bug Buzz, Psychic Noise, Moonblast, Quiver Dance. It's a very, very basic set. Bug Buzz was for not only Abomasnow and Slowbro, but also for like Terra Grass Heatran, which I thought might come as a defensive mon. Yeah. It's very standard. Then I had Scarf Lele because Lele just like, look at this team. Basically, their only good switch into Moonblast, because they also have Ariados, is Heatran. But if Heatran Terras, then their only switch into Moonblast is Ariados, or Spadef, Dunsparce, or Slowbro. So I brought Scarf Moonblast. Focus Blast was to hit Heatran before it Terras, as well as to hit Dunsparce harder. Psychic was Stab and also hits Ariados. And Psychic is Stab, and because of that, it hits Great Tusk, Ariados, Kilowattrel, and Abomasnow harder. Well, Abomasnow gets hit harder, Spike Focus Blast, but I didn't really care about that. And then I got Thunderbolt for Slowbro and Terra Water Dracovish. I don't really know I had Thunderbolt. And then this is Sturdy, Boots, Counter Skarmory. This is trying to emulate the counter strategy which I pulled off against the Dracovish in our regular season game. But Slowking is offensive and doesn't have counter. And Skarmory won't actually live that same hit, but with Sturdy, we will live from full HP, and Boots is stopping Stealth Rock from breaking our Sturdy. Scrafty has a Cobra Berry, so that it can tank a flying move, probably Hurricane or Air Slash from Kilowattrel, allowing it to D-Dance, or knock off and Drain Punch. And Flygon, I don't really know what this Flygon was doing. I think it's just enough speed to outrun Great Tusk. It's Terra Fairy, Terra Blast with D-Dance, Stone Edge, Earthquake, because Fairy, Ground, and Rock is just really good into this team. It hits a lot of it super effectively. The only ones which don't get hit super effectively are Dunsparce, obviously, as well as Slowbro, which are also, they're coincidentally the two best physical walls on the team, but if they've been chipped, then Flygon can be a good win con. Scrafty is mainly just to abuse Ariados' lead and set up on it, which is why it has Shed Skin Rest. Then we have Team 2, which was my dual screens one with another blunder policy, this time on Lele. Because if Lele misses a Focus Blast, then at +2 speed, everything gets outsped, and if I have a Carmine up, then everything also just dies. This is a much more defensive Slowking variant with Kasib Berry for Dragapult, I'm pretty sure. We have, like, yeah, Thunderwave, Scald, Slackoff, Chilly Reception, Spring Normal Set. I have Offensive Drift Blim. This is mainly Heroes of Mind game. It's much worse into the team with the transactions that have been made, but it could work. Then we have Lumberry Sneasler with this set. It's basically the Fling Big Nugget set from the regular season game, except instead we have Lumberry and Throat Chop, which means we do need +3 to one-shot the Slowbro, but it lets us deal with a Grimmsnarl clicking Thunderwave, or a Dunsparce clicking Glare, stuff like that. I have dual screens for Boomby with Webs and Psychic Noise. Psychic Noise gives us a way to hit Ariados, as well as stopping healing on stuff like Slowbro, or like stopping Heatran leftovers maybe. It's mainly for Dunsparce though, because Dunsparce healing on us would be really bad. This is just Fizz Def Skarmory. It answers Great Tusk, it answers Dracovish. It doesn't really answer Dracovish, but it answers Great Tusk, it answers offensive Grimmsnarl, it answers physical Dunsparce, it answers Ariados, it answers physical Dragapult, and it still has counter because we still have Sturdy and we can still live a Fisher's Rend. And then Team 3, which was the Octozolt team, with Silk Scarf, Terra Normal, Boom Burst, Max Special Attack Flygon with Agility, Dragon Pulse, and Earth Power. I'm pretty sure Boom Burst just two-shots everything. And everything that doesn't get two-shot by Boom Burst gets probably one-shot by Earth Power or Dragon Pulse, I would have to guess. I think is probably why I put it here. I don't really know what I was doing with that. This Rabombi is Endure Salak Berry, stuns for Sticky Web Moonblast, because this team doesn't have Skarmory on it as my main Dracovish answer. So this is my secondary Dracovish answer after, Counter Slowking. I'm pretty sure this is the exact set from Game from our regular season game, except I swapped the item to heavy duty boots because Arc Assault is no longer Power Herb Meteor Beam, so I don't need the snow to stay up the whole time. Then this is the same set from the regular season game, just CC Acro SD Fling at +2, Fling Big Nugget, kills Slowbro, and then everything else will die after Unburden is popped. We have Scarf Lele, again, just the same set as this team. Wow, very creative. The Rabombi has Endure Salak so that it can endure Tankerfish's Rend from the Dracovish, and then pop the Salak Berry, be faster than Scarf Dracovish, and then Stun Spore it. Or kill it with Moonblast if it doesn't Terra, or set up Sticky Web. Yeah, so let's see how it went. This is game 1, and they brought basically what I expected. I thought that maybe Heatran would come instead of Grimmsnarl, and I also thought that Dragapult would come, actually, instead of Ariados or Grimmsnarl. But this is, like, I did see all 6 of these potentially coming. So I decided to lead Scrafty because I saw Ariados, and this is my lead into Ariados. Oh yeah, it's using this team, just so you know. So you can Scrafty on it. And I just go for Dragon Dance as it goes for Sticky Web. And I decide I'm going for another Dragon Dance. And they go hard Grimmsnarl. So at this point I decide, okay, we're going to Skarmory. I don't want to eat a Spirit Break from this thing, that would be really bad. So, but then it goes for Trick and has an Iron Ball, which confuses me for a few reasons. Reason 1, if it's Trick, I expected it to be a choice item or to be a Lagging Tail. And secondly, Trick doesn't work on Scrafty unless this isn't Prankster, which it isn't Frisk, and I doubt it would be Pickpocket, because Scrafty's a Dark type and they're immune to Prankster moves. Anyway, Skarmory now has an Iron Ball instead of Boots, which is worrying, because if they get up rocks with Tusk or Dunsparce, then we can lose to Dracovish. But I go for Rid of Fog as they go into the competitive Killer Wattrel, which is a fat misplay on my part. So I go into Flygon expecting Thunderbolt and get hit by a Hurricane and instantly die. Flygon wasn't great in this matchup anyway because it can't break the Dunsparce. Anyway, I go into Lele to just murder it with Scarf Psychic because Lele is really strong and Killer Wattrel is really frail, and it does. They go into Ariados, I switch out expecting it to be Sash, not wanting to eat a Poison Jab. Scrafty comes in. I think I just go for Knockoff. Oh no, I go for Rest as I go for Sticky Web. And then at this point I'm just spamming Knockoff. No, I'm not. I'm sacking Slowking. That also makes sense. They Terra Water Fish's Rend. It does a ton of damage. That's Choice Scarf damage, not Choice Band damage. And then I die. So I go into this thing, who I got its speed lowered by webs, which I was really confused by. But turns out it's because I have an Iron Ball, which I forgot makes non-grounded Pokemon grounded. So yeah, that's what happened. I counter and it dies. This is really good because that was the biggest threat to my team, and now looking at this, it is very susceptible to being Tapu Lele'd. This thing comes out, goes for an Earthquake, which is neutral, which I didn't realize that's how that thing worked. I go into Rabombi and just click Quiver Dance, I think. Yep, I click Quiver Dance, and then I start Moonblasting the Dunsparce. No, I don't. I use Psychic Noise to stop it from healing. I know from this damage that it's probably physically defensive. I have Lumberry for Glare. It wasn't really for that. It was more for Grimmsnarl. But then they go for second Glare, I go for second Moonblast. But Rabombi's really fast. I expect it to be slower, which is why I Quiver Danced. If they roosted, this could have been bad, but they didn't. So I go for another Quiver Dance. What am I doing? Why did I not just click Moonblast? Anyway, I Psychic Noise. It's Sash. I died a Poison Jab. Very surprising. But at this point, Scarf Lele just wins. This isn't 1 HP. This really chipped. Everything else just dies to Moonblast. They go Dunsparce. It gets Moonblasted. Dies. They go into this thing. Sets up Light Screen. Takes 40 from Moonblast, which means it is absolutely maximum special defense. I come in, be immune to Potting Shot. Shed Skin pops. They go for Reflect. I go for Drain Punch. I get a crit, which is super lucky. I go for Drain Punch again, take out the Ariados, and Great Tusk comes in. It goes for Earthquake. I go for Knockoff, I think. Yep. Get rid of this thing's HDB. Doesn't really matter. They go for Earthquake. There's no more light screen, so now Lele just wins by clicking Moonblast twice. So I Moonblast, Tusk dies, Grimmsnarl comes out, I Moonblast, and it dies after going for light screen. So that's a really close 1-0 victory. And now it's game 2. But spoiler alert, I messed up game 2 and I didn't record it. Well, not record, but I forgot to upload the replay. And instead, in the replay section, I just posted the link to the battle because I was playing it at like 11 o'clock at night and I was really sleep deprived because I had gone to bed at like 3 a.m. the day before. So that's really smart. But I used this team. I can't remember exactly how it went. I'm pretty sure I led Slowking as they led Dragapult. I instantly paralyzed a turn 1 with Thunder Wave as a Dragon Dance, and I went to Skarmory. And then I did some Skarmory things. They went to Heatran. I went to Drifblim, I think, as they went for the Terra Grass. It was Terra Grass Heatran. This team replaced Ariados and what's the other one that it replaced? It didn't have Ariados or Dracovish on it. Yep, that was the other one. Instead it had Heatran and Dragapult. I forgot to mention that. Other than that, team was the same. Heatran came in on Skarmory. I think I went into something, I'm pretty sure that it was Drifblim. And I went for an Air Slash on the Terra Grass Heatran before somehow getting into Tapu Lele at some point. I think I got into Tapu Lele under dual screen set up by Rabombi against the Great Tusk, and I set up a Calm Mind as I went to Heatran, landed 2 consecutive Focus Blasts, then also landed, I think, and then I also landed 2 Focus Blasts onto the Grimmsnarl as it went for Light Screen, and then a non-priority move, and just died to a second Focus Blast. Didn't go for Reflect for some reason. I didn't miss a single one. If I did miss a Focus Blast, then I would have been in a good position to win because of Blunder Policy, but I didn't, so now I wasn't, because now Dunsparce walls me under Light Screen. And so I go out into... I think I sack Rabombi. That's probably what happened. I really can't remember, I'm sorry, and I don't have the replay. But then I end up going into Sneasler, and I think that even though it's physically defensive, it should just die to max attack Adamant close combat, but it doesn't. It lives, but it goes for Glare, and since we're Lum, we shake it off, and I go for another close combat. Then I sacrifice Sneasler, get Tapu Lele into a position where I could just win by Moonblasting, I think. But then, I don't remember how, but there was Light Screen up, and the Dragapult would have lived and then killed me with Phantom Force. So instead I went to Skarmory, and then Skarmory just walled the Dragon Dance Dragapult and the Great Tusk, and 1v1'd both of them. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I really can't remember what happened. But I did win, so I moved on to round 2 of playoffs, where I was facing the person who had placed first in the regular season, and one of the people who had beat me and the hardest, and that is the Twin Cities Tentacruels. Where are they? I'm stupid, sorry. Here, yep, the terrain team, which I got clapped by when they didn't even bring their best answers to it. So, I made some teams. The first team had the exact same Slowking, Flygon, and Tapu Lele set on it. And then I had, like, Stealth Rock, Body Press, Brave Bird, Roost. I had this Skarmory set was mainly just to answer the physical attacks on the team as well. It wasn't a very creative team, I'm going to be honest. But then I had... Basically, the game plan was I used Sneasler with this specific set to bait in the Weezing. And then I Nasty Plot. And at +2 attack with max special attack EVs and a modest nature, a normal gem Hyper Beam from Sneasler only has like a 56% chance to kill the Weezing, which is why I have Stealth Rock on Skarmory. And then I have Soul Battery on Arctozolt in order to tank a hit from the Tapu Koko and then be able to dish out a ton of damage. This team is kind of weird. I forgot to look at the other two teams. Other two teams had me scrambling for random answers to Iron Jugulis. So I had an Ockerberry Arctozolt so that it wouldn't die to a Fire Blast from Jugulis, and then it could Revenge Kill it with Bolt Beak or Icicle Crash. I had Endure Weakness Policy on Burden Driftbloom, which even with max special attack doesn't actually kill it with Thunderbolt if it hasn't taken any chip, which is stupid. I had Scarf Lele again. I think I might have brought this. No, the 13 was a different Lele set. Then I have the same Slowking. Wow, how that's so creative. And then I have Quiver Dance Boomby, because Quiver Dance Boomby can actually like slap them really, really hard. I had Psychic over Psychic Noise just because there wasn't really anything which I needed to stop recovering from what I can remember. Except I guess maybe Florges, but I wanted the extra damage for Weezing. And then I had Blacephalon, which was just the same set as regular season game, except it had Flame Charge instead of Smackdown for the Weezing, so it was the correct move this time. And then I had the final team, which had Covert Cloak Lele, because I didn't want to lose to Scarf, Scarf Iron Jugulis, flinching it with a Dark Pulse again. I had Protective Pads Sneasler. This was just so that I could pivot on Weezing without like getting Weezinged. Then I had a Suicide Lead Sticky Web Rabombi with Psychic Noise and Moonblast and Tailwind, because Tailwind lets me get in Flygon and do massive damage with everything. It's just Ground and Electric in general is just really good to this team. This is like a similar Flygon, except instead of physical it's special, and instead of defensive it's offensive, so it's really not similar. This is just specs. It's a pretty standard specs. I have Psychic Noise because it's the only Psychic move Flygon gets, and is the best way for it to hit Weezing. And then I have the Blacephalon set again. And Swords Dance Skarmory, yay! Weak Armor, this speed is to outrun, I think, Booster Speed Jugulis when I'm at +2. Drill Peck and Iron Head are for stab. Drill Run hits the mons which resist my stabs, so it hits Iron Treads, it hits Koko. Well, Koko doesn't resist stabs, but does hit Treads and Koko when it hits Raging Bolt. I had Drill Peck over Brave Bird because I wanted the flying move to hit Araquanid and Iron Leaves, but I also knew that if I was eating a hit to Swords Dance, and especially if it procs my weakness policy, then I don't need the damage from Brave Bird, but I do need the HP that I won't lose from using Drill Peck instead of Brave Bird. Anyway, so game 1, I bring the Nasty Plot Sneasler team, and I lead Skarmory because, like I said, the Stealth Rock is like imperative for the Sneasler, and I ought to just stay in on the Flamethrower. Skarmory doesn't get brought down sturdy, so it's not specs, and I set up the Stealth Rock before going to my answer, which is Flygon, where the Moringa Berry actually does something this game. They go into Weezing, as I think I just go hard Terra Electric, Terra Blast. It might have taken more if I just didn't Terra Electric and just went for Terra Blast, but then I go hard Slowking, eat a Gunk Shot, does 28, unfortunately get poisoned, and I'm pretty sure I go for Chilly Reception as they go Koko. No, I don't. I go Chilly Reception as they go Araquanid, and then I go Arctozolt, and I think I just kill this with Bolt Beak, and then they go Koko? Yeah, okay. Then they go Koko, and they Volt Switch with Koko into Jugulis, I'm pretty sure. No, yes they do. I just get a nice little Crash off first, which does really good damage, so that's really nice. Now Jugulis is in. I probably should have gone for Bolt Beak on this because it would have done the same damage. Oh well, Jugulis is in, but since it's Quark speed, I'm actually slower than it, so while I could just absolutely nuke this even while being slower, I don't want to die. So instead, I go to Lele, which turns out being a really good thing because it's Power Heart Meteor Beam, which would have absolutely destroyed Octazol. So Lele takes 58, which is kind of crazy, but then since it's not Scarf and I got rid of the terrain, it doesn't boost the speed anymore, I'm now faster than it and Moonblast kills it. They then go into Raging Bolt and make a really unfortunate misplay and go for Thunderclap in Psychic Terrain. So that means that I was willing to sack Lele here to this, because it meant that if I got Octazol in under terrain again, I could win. But they went for Thunderclap despite the terrain, so that means that I can just get my 2-shot on the Raging Bolt. The Tabu Koko comes out, but since I'm scarfed and they're at such low HP, it then dies to Moonblast. And here's where I start throwing. I'm currently up 6-2, which is really good, but then the Iron Leaves comes out, and I make a series of interesting plays. First, I go hard Skarmory, which takes 13, which I guess is fair. I was just trying to sack it off. I get 2 rounds of Rocky Helmet Chip, which is really nice. And I bring out Flygon, which is dumb because it's slower, and even though it's max HP, it doesn't save it from the Cork Drive attack Leaf Blade. And I was like, oh, okay, that was my fault. I'm just going to go Lele to get rid of the Cork Drive attack so that Octazol can live. And then for some reason I go hard Octazol, and it just dies because it gets crit. And I'm like, oh, that's because it got crit. It turns out, no, it's not, because as I go Slowking and Rindoberry pops, I realize that since it did 49, this thing is choice banded. Because it would have done like 30 something maximum if it wasn't. So that was an interesting set of plays for me. But then Weezing comes out, Gunk Shot comes out, gets a low roll, Psychic Noise just pops the Weezing, and we win game 1. Game 2, I bring Source and Skarmory. And now there's actually an Iron Bundle on my screen, which I have never played against, I'm going to be honest. At least in this matchup. I lead Rabombi, looking to... I don't remember what the Rabombi song of this team was. It was Suicide Lead. Okay, I lead Rabombi, and I'm pretty sure I go for Sticky Web. How to get full powered, they Volt Switch, I tank it, and then I get on my Sticky Web on the Raging Bolt. No, I don't. I go for Tailwind, apparently. Why would I do that? Actually, no, that makes sense. Okay, anyway. And then I go for Sticky Web and get absolutely eviscerated by a Raging Bolt, Rising Voltage. And then I make a very confident play and bring in my Specs Flygon and go hard Terra Electric Terra Blast against a Raging Bolt, expecting them to go Weezing to not get hit by Earthquake, which pays off, but that was really stupid. I'm pretty sure I was just looking at, oh, if they go Iron Jugulus, then I can just destroy it instantly, and I really want that, so I just went for it. I go for it again, trying to take out the Weezing as the main thing, stopping Sneasler and Skarmory, but they go back into Raging Bolt. It does 6%. So I go into Lele, because Lele can eat a Dragon move from this thing. It can eat Rising Voltage from this thing, and I just want to Moonblast it. They go for Dragon Pulse for me. Really lucky. I go for Moonblast. It does 58. So that means that this is Assault Vest as hell. Like, this is really... Like, I think it's like max HP Assault Vest. And they Volt Switch into Coco. And I don't keep Lele in. I go hard Flygon, because even without any investment, Flygon is still somehow a good defensive check to Coco. And I'm pretty sure I just go Earth Power, and it drops but faster because of webs, so that's really nice. They go Bundle, and it's Boots and Cork Drive Speed, so I'm definitely slower. Now, in my mind, there are 2 scenarios here. Scenario 1 is Bundle misses Hydro Pump, and it instantly dies to Earth Power, because my calc says Hydro Pump always kills me, and Earth Power always kills it. Scenario number 2 is I get hit with Hydro Pump, and I die, and I go into Scarf Lele, and kill it with Psychic. Turns out, all of that was wrong. Everything I said there. Because it lands a Hydro Pump, but I live, so it wasn't a guaranteed kill. And I land my Earth Power, but it lives, so that also wasn't a guaranteed kill. At this point, I'm like, okay, I want to keep Flygon around, because with webs, it's faster than Iron Treads. I don't really know why I decided to keep it around. But anyway, I decided to keep it around and just suck off Sneasler so I can bring in my Scarf Lele and kill the bundle. So I go into Sneasler, get hit by Freeze Ride, does 43. Maybe they miss Hydro Pump. No, it hits. I die. I go into my Scarf Lele, and you know how I said everything I said that was wrong? Yeah, that includes the Lele being Scarf, because this is the covert Cloak Lele team. But I got so confused because every other game I played against this guy and every other team I built against this guy, my Lele has been Scarf, and my Lele has been Scarf in like half the games I played this league. So I'm just fully expecting it to be Scarf, but it's not, so I get hit by a Hydro Pump, live on 3%, and then kill this with a Moonblast. And this one I'm like, oh, this thing really isn't Scarf. So I sack it off to a Dark Pulse, because I was for some reason still under the impression that it was Scarf. And at this point, okay, I probably lose to Jugglers. It clicks Flamethrower here, Skarmory dies, it clicks Dark Pulse, Blacephalon dies, Flygon on 1 HP. But then they hard switch into Weezing on Skarmory as I go for Iron Head, because I'm like, well, if they hit me with a Flamethrower and I get a good roll on Iron Head because of weakness policy, it will die, and that's really good for me. But they go hard Weezing, and I decide to Sword Stance because, again, if they hit me with Flamethrower, then I can be in a good spot and be able to, like, deal a ton of damage, even though I'm slower than these. But if it hits me with, like, I don't know, some physical move, then that would be really good. But they go for Toxic Spikes, which is interesting, considering I have a Flying type, a Levitating one, and a Blacephalon, which will get one-shot by this whole team, except, I guess, Weezing itself. So now this has put me in an amazing position as I have my full HP Skarmory at +2 attack take out the Weezing. Of course, I can still lose if they... of course, since I'm not sturdy, I do just lose if Raging Bolt comes in and just starts mashing Thunderclap. Like, I can't beat it because this will die, Blacephalon won't kill it with Shadow Ball because it's Assault Vest. Anyway, Treads comes in. Oh yeah, Treads comes in, which is really weird. I'm like, why is the Treads here? This is very good for me. I can now win, in theory. The only way this Treads kills me is A, if it's Thunder and it has like some investment, or B, if it gets a critical hit and is choice bounded with Supercell Slam. But it goes for Rapid Spin, which pops my weak armor. And now if it's offensive Treads, it just dies to Drill Run. So I go for Drill Run. It's not offensive Treads. It's defensive, so it lives. Rocky Helmet, I take 20%. But now I am at +4 speed, so I'm faster than even Scarf Jugulis. Wait, no, I was faster than Scarf Jugulis +2. Anyway, I'm very fast now. And Drill Run lands again, thank goodness. And Treads is dead. And I'm like, okay, now I definitely lose. This thing just starts clicking Thunderclap. But they go Jugulis, and it just drops to an Iron Head. And then I expect them to go for Thunderclap, so I go for Drill Peck. I did think the Drill Peck would kill, which turns out it didn't. I could have gone for Drill Run, but I didn't want to miss, because if I missed, then I guaranteed lost. But like if they just use Thunderclap, I also guaranteed lost. But then it goes for Rising Voltage, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it specs. Maybe it doesn't have Thunderclap. So I go Flygon to C, but no, it uses Thunderclap on the 1 HP Flygon. So then I go into Blacephalon, and I'm like, well, if this crits me with Thunderclap, I have like a 50% chance to die, otherwise I should win. It doesn't crit me, it gets a roll which would kill if it crit me. Shadow Ball kills Bolt, and we win. Game 2, that was game 2. So now we have won that set, and we are against the winner of the other side, which is the Losing Lillipups. Haha, very ironic that they're now in finals, despite being called losing. Oh, this was the team I was meant to show you. This was the team that I went against game 2 against the Mar and beat Marowak. Whoops, about that. Anyway, so now I am against the Losing Lillipups, this team. The one that I lost to because I got crit by the Garchomp. Yeah, I would have won if that Garchomp Earthquake didn't crit, just so you know. And now it has this stuff on it, so it's kind of different. And at this point, I've kind of run out of gas with funny sets to cook up, so pretty much all of these are just normal sets. This is just a Trick Room Slowking. It has Expanding Force over Psychic because I needed it to hit neutral targets harder. I have Double Dance Skarmory, which can't hit any of the 2 ghost types, so maybe that was the bad bring. Now Scarf Lele, very simple. I have Bulk Up, Dream Punch. This used to be Dragon Dance at one point. And I would Dragon Dance to the point of being faster than everything, but that was like really unrealistic, so Bulk Up was kind of just better. Dragon Dance would have been fine. And then I have Quiver Dance for Brimby with a Lumberry, which is just for Sableye. Then this is double Specs, Specs Lele and Specs Flygon with Webs, because with Webs, both of these outspeed the whole team and can two-shot the whole team with the right move. Colbert Berry Slowking is for Chiyu. This is Covert Cloak, Skarmory. The Skarmories were both Covert Cloak to anti-Knuckle Stack. Otherwise, I can't really do much to Knuckle Stack. I mean, this Skarmory can't really do anything to Knuckle Stack. And Octazalt is just a reasonably normal set. Third team, I have Scarf Lele again. I have the same Slowking set, same Octazalt set. I have a Dragon Dance Flygon with dual Wing Beat for Sinistra and Terra Ice Terra Blast for also Sinistra, apparently, as well as Garchomp, Glysaur, other stuff. And then I have Earthquake. I have Specs for Brimby because it hits really hard. And I have the same Skarmory set as the other two, except instead of Brave Bird, I have Rock Tomb. Let's see how it goes. Game 1, I bring the first team, this one, because that's how I just did things. I lead Scrafty, they lead Glamora, instantly go for Mortal Spin, which is interesting, as I go for Knockoff, get a lucky crit, do 57. I did not calc this, probably should have. I then go into Skarmory, as it goes for Stealth Rock, and I go for Agility. Then, since I'm Covert Cloak, I just stay in an Iron Defense, as I go for Salt Cure, and Covert Cloak blocks Salt Cure. I go for Body Press. Garchomp takes 61, which is massive. They go Glamora, and Body Press just takes this out. And then it's Terra Ghost Glysaur, which I probably should have looked at. I can't hit this. I don't know this at this point of the game, but the Glysaur also can't hit me. Like, its only attacking move is Earthquake, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think it's Sub-Protect Toxic Earthquake, so it just can't hit Skarmory. They Swords Dance, and because I got that proc and my leftovers healing, I don't die unless it crits me with Earthquake. Surely the same guy won't crit me with Earthquake again. Oh, he does. So, 2 games and 2 Earthquake crits, which both mattered. So now I'm in not a very good position, but it's fine, as I go into my Rabombi, who has a Lumberry, and I go for Moonblast. I break the sub, I tank the Earthquake, because like I said, it doesn't have an attacking move that isn't Earthquake. It takes out Rabombi after going for Moonblast. It's like max speed, max attack, like it is 0 ball. So I go into Blacephalon to hit it with a Shadow Ball, and this is Purifying Salt, which I forgot that it got. I thought it was only Garganacl which got it, but so yeah, it basically resists Shadow Ball. So then I Shadow Ball the Scream Tail, and then I Shadow Ball the Knuckle Stack. I just stay in and spam Shadow Ball. And then I Shadow Ball the Knuckle Stack again as it goes for Recover. I get another Spadaf drop, by the way. And then they Protect as I Shadow Ball again. Yeah, that was probably not my best gameplay ever. I kind of needed that for Glysaur. But I go into Slowking. I get hit by Assault Cure. I go for Surf, it takes it out. But now I have been chipped massively by Salt Cure hit, Toxic Damage, and Stealth Rock. I go into this thing just to deal with the Garchomp. Then I double into Tapu Lele, expecting Glysaur to come in and get hit by an Earthquake. No, I don't. I get hit by a Fire Fang. I'm stupid. Screamtail comes in. I Moonblast it. It dies. This is in theory good, but I can't Oko Chiyu. So I Moonblast it, do 54, which is pretty good. Get Dark Pulsed, and die. Special attack drop is good because it means that Slowking can actually live a hit. So I go for, no I don't. I just switch back into Skarmory like an idiot. I thought that I just go for Trick Room here, and apparently I don't. And then I body press this, and then it Fire Fangs me, and I die, and oh, I wanted to regen, but now I take 57 from EQ, which is kind of stupid. And so then I go for Trick Room, and I physically don't have enough turn to exist. Surf crits the 1 HP Garchomp, and it dies. Chiyu comes out, very generous opponent, giving Fast Queen another kill. But then yeah, I just died to toxic damage, and it doesn't matter because this had, I couldn't kill it anyway without the expanding force. Actually, since it was no bulk, I probably would. Anyway, that was game 1. Game 2, I bring the double specs team with Arctazol on it. Yeah, this one. I bring this one. And now there is an Electrode, which there wasn't before, but there's no Screamtail. I get Taunted. I forgot to name the Rabumbi apparently. I go for Psychic Noise. I don't really know why. I think I expected Glamora to come in, but they Volt Switch. Go into Knuckle Suck. I think I go for Moonblast. Yep. I go into Skarmory. They get up Rocks. What is the... Oh, it's the... Okay, delete one. Rocks. I go for, I think, Spike. Nope, I go for Stealth Rock as this comes in. I eat the Overheat. They are not eject pack. I get my chip with Brave Bird, which means this is now a Moonblast range, except this is the team with Specs Lele, so it doesn't even matter. I go for the Chilly Reception, get Arctazol in, really good position, just click Blizzard. This thing dies to Blizzard. This would die to Blizzard, this would die to Blizzard. This won't, and it goes for Protect as I Bolt Beak. I think I just go for Taunt. Oh. It goes for a card, which is lucky. Then I go for Blizzard, expecting it to be Fizz Def. It does 24, which is not very much. And I think I just stay in and Bolt Beak. Yep, and I take it out. I think it was Spadef. I should have known that from the damage on Rabumbi. They go into Gliscor. I go hard Flygon, expecting an Earthquake. I'm pretty sure they sub. Nope, they just hard Sword Stance. Jeez, okay. Now they go into Glamora, and I think they just get popped by a Draco. Oh, I thought I Earth Powered. Why didn't I Earth? Maybe Earth Power didn't kill it from there. This comes in, but it's not Boot, so it can't come in again. It hits me with a Dark Pulse, but I live, and Draco Meteor takes it out. This is really good for me, except now there's a Chomp in. I go Rabumbi, as I don't want this thing to kill Rabumbi to kill me with a Scale Shot, because then I just lose. I go into Slowking. It hits me with a Poison Jab. I click Chilly Reception. I go Arctazol. I click Blizzard. They go Gliscor, who takes 43 from Blizzard. And then I go for Bolt Beak, and Gliscor goes down. I probably should have just gone for Blizzard again, but Chomp comes out, and it drops to a Blizzard. So now we're in a Game 3 situation with my final team with, yeah, this. I lead Flygon and just hard Dragon Dance turn 1. I'm pretty sure this goes for Leaf Storm. It's a jetpack, which is pretty cool. Knuckle Stack is gone. Screamtail is back. T-Dance. This thing's Sash, as always. It's always Sash. I Earthquake it. It goes for Power Gem. We live. That's why I stayed in. I was banking on this not being Dazzling Gleam. I go hard Terra Ice, Terra Blast, Terra Fairies. Misses a Toxic. It takes 33. I go for Earthquake, do 38. Goes for Toxic, and then I'm pretty sure it just stalls me out slowly. Yep, with Protect. And then I go for Final Earthquake. Or do I? I don't. It might double Protect, actually. I'm pretty sure he lets me get up the Earthquake. Yeah, he does. And just goes for Toxic again, in case I switch or something. Flygon did pretty well. Got killed Glamora, got damage on this. I go into my Specs Bombi and just click Moonblast and just 88, which is a crap ton. I stay in, eat the Volt Switch, take 42, which is a lot, but Moonblast does a lot to Screamtail in turn. 42. I'm pretty sure it's red card, So I go into this thing and go for Rock Tomb and miss. That's really cool. Rock Tomb wouldn't have done much damage anyway. They protect as I go for rocks, which is really nice for me. And then I go for Rock Tomb again. No, I don't. I go hard Slow King. Okay, that also makes sense. And then I'm pretty sure that here I just Chilly Reception as it goes for Roar, which I know because my Chilly Reception went first. It then Flamethrowers Skarmory, which does 38. I go for Spikes. It Flamethrowers me again. I'm pretty sure I go for Rock Tomb and miss. Yep, I do. That is not a good move. Don't use Rock Tomb. I go hard Slow King, expecting another Flamethrower. I take 4%, so this is not invested at all. I mean, I am also especially expensive. I Thunder Wave the Scream Tail. Just a waste of turn so that I can get my full turns of Snow with Arctozolt. As it goes for Roar again, I just don't really care. I go Arctozolt, I click Bolt Beak. My gameplay is very linear. They go Chomp. I go into Skarmory, intending to sack it off as the thing goes for an Endure, and then Scale Shot. So at this point I'm thinking that it's Endure Lychee Berry. So I go Lele. And I just click Moonblast. I'm 90% sure I just click Moonblast. Yep, Moonblast, Screamtail dies. Chomp comes back in, which I think is interesting, as it goes for Endure and I Moonblast again. Now, at this point I'm realizing it's probably Endure Custap, so I go to Rabombi and sack it so that even though that means that when I bring Lele back in, it'll have to take an extra Stealth Rock and Turn of Poison, I will at least be able to take it out without losing Lele, and then Lele can go for Moonblast on the remaining 2 mons. But what actually happens is I stay in and get Earthquaked, because I was lagging pretty badly. So when I went Rabombi, it turns out that my opponent had already clicked Earthquake by the time I had cancelled and went Rabombi, but my internet had not registered it yet because it was so slow. So it cancelled that, and I ended up staying in with Lele, which is really bad. I do end up going Rabombi. They go for Endure, so I go for Moonblast. It takes no damage because Endure. And then I go for Moonblast again, because if Rabombi comes back and dies anyway. And now this is a really weird endgame with my Slowking and Arctozolt against their Glysaur and Chi-Yu. I Chilly Reception into Arctozolt. I'm pretty sure I Taunt as they protect. Yep. And then I go for Blizzard as they go for Earthquake. No, I go for Bolt Beak as they go for Earthquake. That makes sense, okay. And then they protect again as I Taunt again. No, as I Bolt Beak again. And then I think I Taunt. No, I just go hard Slowking, apparently. But the gist of it is I misplay, and I let this Glysaur heal too much. It takes out Arctozolt with some Earthquakes, and Slowking can't take it out. And poetically, it ends the game with a crit Earthquake. 3 and 4 battles, need I mention. All of which mattered, by the way. 37 was max roll, I think. Actually, it might not have mattered, but I didn't really care because I knew I had lost. And at this point, I just thought it was kind of funny that it ended with crit EQ. So, yeah, I didn't end up winning. I placed 2nd overall, which I think is really good. Final words about this league. It was really fun to play in. I really enjoyed it. I really liked building with this team that I made after I replaced Starmie and Slurpuff. They didn't really help me much. I had a great time this league, and apparently Earthquake's a high crit ratio move because crits a lot. I also learned to appreciate that Flygon, really good Terra Captain. And Sneasler's a fraud. I use Sneasler really badly, but yeah, it's still a fraud in my eyes. This thing is not good. Anyway, thank you all for watching. see you whenever I make the next video, which will probably not be for a really long time.